It's the equivalent of being at a cocktail party, seeing a pretty girl across the room at the bar. You walk straight up to her, and the first thing out of your mouth is, "There are no shortcuts to building a relationship." I live on LinkedIn, and I would say that is about 50% of my day. One out of every 100 sellers creates regular content on LinkedIn. The other 99 don't.
What's the hardest thing about what you do?
Finding a way to build a real relationship with the end brand. I've spent my entire career in the direct-to-consumer ecosystem, and one of the hardest things to do is build trust with the brands that you serve. If you have 14,483 software companies that are all trying to gain the attention of the same 2,000 brands on Shopify, building trust is really difficult. Building relationships that stick is really difficult, and that is the hardest part of what we do. But it's a large part of every GTM motion that I get really excited about.
So you've been with Postpilot for 8 months. You told me you 8x their pipeline. How did you do that?
I've spent my career focusing on software companies in the e-com world, serving all the amazing brands that we know and love. The go-to-market motion and outbound motion often looks like, oh, let me go spam all decision makers with an email. Let me go cold call them. And at the end of the day, that's something that really erodes trust, and performance of that has diminished over the course of time. So the question is, how do you actually cut through the noise? You cut through the noise by genuinely developing trust. And how I typically have done that is through LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been the single largest source for all of my career successes, I would argue, but definitely the source of pipeline, definitely the source of building trust and building relationships, right? Others that use it for sales often repeat their spam-like behavior that they did in other channels, whereas I prefer to leverage LinkedIn as a true place to build relationships, build connections, deliver value, and then build trust in that process, thought leadership in that process, and ultimately command attention from an audience. So we're often in the game of competing for attention rather than competing for solution to solution. It's like, how can you captivate, entertain, educate, and deliver value to an audience and build trust in that fashion? So that's how I traditionally build my GTM motions as I do that, and has been the largest success for what's been done at Postpilot over the last 8 months.
So do you combine content and outreach, cold outreach, or do you allow your content to get people to reach out to you? Like, how do you actually use LinkedIn to manage that?
Yeah, great question. When you think about content, I think content is actually the last step in what I consider a three-part flywheel. So, content is very much like a billboard. Like, hi, I have this thing that feels important, and I want people to see it, right? Um, Come to me, look at me, right? And if you think about what it means to build a relationship, that that's asking for something. So the ask in a real relationship typically comes after you've given something first, right? So give more than you can take. So when you think about this like flywheel of LinkedIn, those who are using it most effectively, the way I built relationship on LinkedIn, the way I built GTM motions using LinkedIn, really actually starts by showing up for your audience or your target ICP first, showing up where they are. So, for instance, you have a CMO at a brand that you're trying to get in front of, and that CMO posts actively on LinkedIn or occasionally on LinkedIn. Go cheer them on. Go and be in their comments. Be the person that says something really positive, roots for them, delivers value, adds a unique piece of insight, and do so in the comments. Very few people will remember who liked their post. Everybody will remember a thoughtful comment, right? Now, when you think about outbound is, salespeople, I think by default are like very impatient individuals. I'll put myself in that same bucket, right? And so oftentimes it's like, hey, let me go ask for a meeting. Let me go ask for a DM or ask for something in the DMs or send a connection request. But the reality is that when you think about connection requests when they're sent on LinkedIn, what, 1 out of 5 connection requests are accepted? 4 to 5 are ignored or declined, right? And why is that? It's because they don't know you, right? It's like someone like by accepting a connection request on LinkedIn, they're inviting you into their world. They're inviting, saying, "Yes, look at what I'm doing, and I'll look what you're doing, and I'm giving you free two-way communication to communicate with me." It's like literally giving a stranger a phone number. right? And so that's a difficult thing to do, which is why the connect rates are so low. Whereas if you have already shown up for that particular person for a period of time, 30, 45 days, engaged for a period of time with their content, made them laugh, cheered them on, then all of a sudden, when you've made enough what I call deposits, deposits in the form of like things you give to someone in a relationship, then you earn the right to say, you know what, I'm going to take a withdrawal, make a withdrawal now. And that withdrawal is just sending the connect request, asking inherently or implicitly to be a part of the world, right? Not asking for a meeting, not asking for them to do anything other than hit accept, right? So typically, by doing kind of taking that philosophy, my connect accept race, acceptance rates around 80%, right? Which is kind of insane when you think about it. And many people will be like, "Hey, Neil, it's because you have a LinkedIn audience." Like that's why. Well, no, I'm not connected with that person. They have no idea who I am, right? But they do when they see the connect request. They're like, Neil, that sounds familiar. Oh yeah, he's that guy that's super caffeinated, high energy, always positive. He's always in my comments. I don't remember what he said, but I do remember how he made me feel, and he's always got something nice to say. Fine, accept. Boom. That is like step one complete in terms of showing up for them. Step two, getting it accepted because they won't see your content unless they've accepted. You're not connected with them. So they won't see it, right? You might get views, but they might not be the relevant views, right? You're talking about your target brand that you want to work with or customer that you want to work with. How do you get them to see your content? That only happens after you have a two-way connection on LinkedIn. And the only way you get that connection is by showing up for them first.
It feels like a full-time job.
It is.
So how do you get work done if all you're doing is spending time on LinkedIn building relationships?
I live on LinkedIn, and I would say that is about 50% of my day. Right. When you think about GTM leadership, even as someone as an individual IC, uh, if you are looking to achieve sales success, the most important factor in all of that is pipeline, right? How much pipeline do you have? I personally am consider myself like just an above average seller, like just above average. But as an individual contributor back in my selling days, the reason why I always outperformed every other rep that I sat alongside is I just had 8x of pipeline of everybody else. And so for that in that scenario, you don't have to be an excellent seller. You just by a factor of numbers, you end up performing better than everyone else. And so that's where it's like, okay, if pipeline is the most important contributor and building pipeline is harder than ever, like I mentioned before, in my space, e-commerce, 14,483 software companies chasing the same 2,000 brands on Shopify. Those poor email inboxes of those CMOs and VPs of marketing and whatnot, like I can't even imagine what they look like. And it's the reason why performance as email as a channel has gone down so much, particularly for our niche, right? So the question is like, how do you cut through that noise? And if pipe gen is the key to ultimately driving revenue and performance, the question is what type of pipe gen works? And for me, it's not email. For me, it's like go to LinkedIn. That's where your audience is. That's where your ICP spends their time. Your average customer is actually clicking into LinkedIn 6 to 7 times per day. They're clicking into their email inbox because it's a giant to-do list of things that they need to weave through. They click into LinkedIn because they're like bored, or they want to kill the time, or they want to find something else to do, or they want to be entertained, or they want to see what's up in their industry or what's going on with their network. So why not meet them where they are, right? Like if that's where they're spending their time, why, as someone that's trying to build pipeline, why wouldn't you spend your time there as well? So short answer, yeah, it is a full-time job. And so when I develop these systems across sales teams, um, that's kind of part of the mantra that I preach as well, right? Like show up where your prospects are, and that's on LinkedIn right now.
When I get connection requests, I just look at are they relevant, and the vast majority of them aren't. Some of them give me a note, most of them don't. I look at the note. Usually the note tells me I don't want to talk to them. And I think I'm more likely to respond if they don't have a note, but Yeah, I think most people aren't relevant. And I do recognize the part you were talking about with content where I've been talking a lot more about the software that I've been building, SparkFox, and I have been getting a lot of ghostwriters and like agency owners that do content stuff responding, commenting on my content. I was like, but I'm not serving you. You're not the right people. I'm trying to attract founders of companies or investors of companies. And so that's also because possibly I am not going to my ICP. But then again, I'm at a stage where I'm trying to figure out who my audience is. I'm trying to identify who's going to be the one that's most likely to buy uh, and want it enough to buy. And so I and it's different for you where it's very easy, you know exactly who you're looking for, you know the names of the e-commerce brands, you know this and that. So it's easier for you to figure that out. But for me, it's like, well, I could add a ton of investors and spend 6 months trying to reach out to them, but they could be the wrong people. I could spend 6 months talking to founders. They could be the wrong people. You know, maybe agencies are the right people. I don't even know. So I'm building for a problem that I have that I'm sure other people have and are interested in, but simultaneously trying to figure out who will be the buyer. And I don't know, maybe that's a bad idea, but
Well, actually, I think LinkedIn is an incredible feedback loop for that too, right? So like oftentimes, you're absolutely right. Like in my space, like I know exactly who my ICP is. I know exactly who my customer is. If I look at all of my LinkedIn connections, about 90% of them are in my ICP, which is a brand side founder or marketing leader, right? So I'm speaking directly to the audience I'm looking to sell to. That's when it's a defined ICP. Whereas though, I mean, we have so many startups that are popping up. It's easier than ever to launch a new solution, and as a result, the first thing you're thinking about is like, well, is this solution going to be valuable to an audience? Is it worth scaling? Is it worth diving deeper into? And in that process, you're trying to understand who the audience is. LinkedIn is that feedback loop. Like if you're bringing in the wrong folks, then you understand, okay, is it something with my product? Is it something with my messaging? What's my strategy? That can often inform like what you should be writing about. But then the other part is that going and finding that audience using a tool like LinkedIn Sales Nav or other tools to give you some kind of sense of who is that target ICP that you're going after that you think might do well. Make sure you put in the effort chasing after them in terms of like making deposits, ultimately getting those connection requests so they see your content and fall into that flywheel. And then you have a quick feedback on whether or not it's resonating with that target audience, right? But again, it's a trial and test. And I think LinkedIn is a great feedback loop for all of that.
I think a lot of people are not doing what you do. I think a lot of people are, and I've been in rooms where people are talking about this, talking about strategy, um, where they will maximize the number of connection requests every day for as long as they can and send cold DMs to every single one of those people, but they probably don't have a content engine or they don't have a presence that really is something people are willing to respond to. And so they get really low response rates. Where I'm I have been focused on trying to create content, and SparkFox is making a lot of that content for me. And that's a question I wanted to ask you about as well. Uh, it's helping me to make a lot of content, but I'm not going and connecting with people. I'm not sending connection requests. I am actually getting 30, 40, 50 people a week following me. My hope is the people following me are the right people, but I'm not. The vast majority of them are not connecting. They're not requesting to connect with me, and I'm not requesting to connect with them. So I think that's possibly where I'm falling short. Personally, I think a lot of other people make bigger mistakes than that.
I mean, you said it beautifully. It's like, uh, how do you get the right people or you're the ones you're going after to see your content? You have to have that two-way connection. You have to, because otherwise, yes, there'll be plenty of people you're not connected with that'll see your content, but are they your ICP? No. Whereas if you sent a connection request, you believe, or at least have a thesis that they're in your ICP, right? So you have to have that two-way connection. But the problem is that like if you send a cold connection request to somebody and you haven't just doing it out of the blue, like kind of you mentioned, a few folks that are just like, spamming connect requests, maxing out per day. It's the equivalent of being at a cocktail party, seeing a pretty girl across the room at the bar. You walk straight up to her, and the first thing out of your mouth is, "Can I have your phone number?" Like that's insulting. Like doesn't work. It's it's just the wrong approach to build any sort of relationship, right? That is what a cold connection request is. You're asking to be a part of their world out of the gate and they know nothing about you. So what if you were to show up for them first for a period of time? It takes a 30, 45-day runway. Like it's not a quick fix. It does require a long game approach and actually requires the desire to build a real relationship, right? Like that's the first and foremost. I think we often have a tendency to completely forget all proper social etiquette and behavior when we're on any type of virtual or online environment. Um, Whereas, would you behave this way and send out a bunch of connect requests to a bunch of people live in a cocktail room and go ask for 10 phone numbers all in one fell swoop? No, it seems so bizarre to go do that. But why do we behave that? Fair enough.
Like, what are you at a cocktail party for? You're trying to meet people.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's a way of doing that, right? Like
Sure.
the way of doing that where it's going to have more success, right?
Yeah.
You're unlikely to be successful if you do that bam, 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 10 in a row. You might get one out of 10, right? But that's not the game we're playing here. If we're trying to build real relationships with all of our ICP, how do I get 80% of people to accept my connection request? That requires showing up for them first, doing something that adds value to them, makes them feel good, cheers them on. That requires showing up for them, and that requires the long game approach, something that most people actually deprioritize or forget in that whole outbound process.
So I don't normally talk about this, but I will. So I asked my wife out after meeting her for like a minute, and she said yes because she didn't realize that it was a date. She's Vietnamese. I met her in Vietnam. I arrived there my first day. She was managing the Airbnb that I was staying in, and she showed up to hand me the key and make sure that there was no issues with the room, with the apartment. And it was around dinner time. I didn't know anybody. I had never been to the country, and I was like, "Hey, are you doing anything for dinner?" And she's like, "No." I go, "Great, I'm taking you for dinner." She's like, "Okay." And we went out for dinner. She thought nothing of it, and like a week later, we were dating.
Well, see, not everyone is as lucky as you are. I mean, like that sounds like you got some game, man.
Well, being white in an Asian country helps. Um, and she told me recently that when she was younger, she did dream of having a half white baby. So that also helps that I picked the right one.
Okay,
But she's also very, very sweet. We get along
a
very
lot of
well.
things fell in your favor there.
Yes, for sure. So, AI, are you using AI for connecting or writing content or no?
I personally do not. Right. I personally do not. Yes, I think the only place where AI is an assist is in creating the content, right? Creating the content itself. Um, Not necessarily ideating the content. I think ultimately, for me, it's my own ideas, it's my own copy, and I use AI to refine it and make it sound just a little bit better, right? Um, so that's the limitation of what I use in AI. But when it comes to like actually I think that's where I completely take a polar opposite approach to almost everyone that's building some kind of AI outreach tool, right? For the purpose of outreach, is there are no shortcuts to building a relationship. There are no shortcuts to building trust. There are no shortcuts to showing up for someone more than they show up for you. Those are all things that just require a genuine desire to serve, a genuine desire to show up, and a genuine desire to build a real relationship. You can't AI any of those out. And so when you think about the time that I spend on LinkedIn, it's with all of that in mind. And those are things that AI cannot do. Or I wouldn't say this. It's not that AI cannot do. I will not allow AI to do for me. Because for me, if I genuinely want to build a relationship with person A, B, and C, Well, that requires me doing the things that I would do at a cocktail party or you know, physical social environment, right? I behave the same way there. And that's something that AI I don't think is ever going to replace. Now that said, AI can make things more efficient for sure. AI can help me with things like analytics and helping me understand what's resonating and what's not. So on the data side, AI can help with refining copy, but the concept of actually building a relationship, the concept of AI commenting. Oh my gosh, no, please no, never. Like it's the bane of my existence. AI DMs, never in a million years would I ever engage in such. It's just not my thing, simply because when I reach out to somebody, I'm reaching out to them with the desire to genuinely shake their hand, and you can't automate that, right? You can't automate that. It has to come from a genuine place.
AI comments piss me off so much. It's so obvious that they've written a comment for someone, even if the comment is like 2 sentences. And it's so frustrating because it's so obvious. Like, how lazy are you that you can't even write a comment? Now, to be fair, I'm building a tool that generates ideas and generates content, but my goal is to keep it as human as possible. But like, even I think AI comments are awful. And sometimes I see the comments and like sometimes I see people use AI comments on my content and I want to give them hell for it. But then I think about how the AI wrote my post and I'm like, I can't give them too much of a hard time because the AI wrote my content. It's like, how dare you use an AI to comment when I've just used an AI to generate the post? But like, even I write my own comments. Like, come on, guys, how hard is that?
Yeah, I mean, AI commenting and AI supported posts are, I think, on two different ends of the spectrum, right? Like if you think about the purpose of content, of the comment, I want to deliver value to somebody else. I'm showing up for somebody else, and I want to add my POV on somebody else's content. Those are all things that do require that physical desire or internal desire to deliver that value or that touch point. Whereas the content itself, to me, like as long as the content is authentic, comes from your POV, and you're using AI to further fuel what's performing well, understand acting based on data, acting based on performance, what's resonating with your ICP, and then on top of that, refining what is already your unique POV on the world or subject matter, then yeah, it's absolutely warranted and it's absolutely a good thing to do. I think the commenting thing is the one where you're reaching out on somebody else's turf. You're the one who's looking to build a relationship, and that's something that, in my view, shouldn't be automated or AI.
So 50% of your day is LinkedIn. What's the other 50% of your day?
Well, I think the remaining 50% is devoted to um, helping the team understand the philosophy behind this approach too, right? So one is like actually putting the pipeline engine in motion. The other part is this type of approach is not innate. It's not natural for most, and requires like reinforcement. It also requires um, helping anyone that deploys a strategy to kind of get oftentimes out of their own way. Like posting on LinkedIn is scary. It actually genuinely is. So, like for those that don't do it frequently, it's scary. It's a form of public speaking, and everyone's got their own kind of predispositions on what it means to do public speaking. One's like I couldn't even bear the thought of it. Others are like it's cringe. Others believe I don't even know where to start. Others have this imposter syndrome. Am I going to get called out for not being an expert on something that I'm speaking about? Like, am I credible enough to speak on this? Like, all of these thoughts enter someone's mind when it comes to creating content and being active on LinkedIn. And so, oftentimes, a lot of the time that's devoted to this type of pipe gen is also devoted to helping everyone through those. I think the ultimately it's like, do you want to be successful in sales? Do you want to be successful in driving revenue for the company you work for? If the answer is yes, let's follow these. I can help anybody through imposter syndrome. I can help anybody through fear. I can help anybody through I don't know where to start or processing something. The only one part that I cannot help is when someone says, "Ew, this is too cringe. I can't do it." Right? And that's where this whole kind of process falls on its head. It's like, okay, do you want to be in sales then? Because if you had the opportunity to stand on stage in a theater with the seats filled of 200 members of your ICP, and you had the opportunity to talk about what you're selling, offering, you know, to your audience, and you had the opportunity to stand on stage for 30 minutes, would you want that opportunity? And if that answer is no, then I don't know why you're in sales um, uh, or in a revenue driving position. And if the answer is yes, of course you would, which most salespeople would say is, of course I would love that opportunity. Then why is it that none of you go onto LinkedIn and create content? Why is it that one out of every 100 sellers creates regular content on LinkedIn? The other 99 don't.
Mm.
Like that's a wild stat. And so it's just a function of stepping a foot on that stage. So um, what do you do with the rest of the time? Oftentimes it's one is actually doing the pipe gen, building relationships. I very much, as much as I'm uh, a leader of a team, I operate like an IC myself. I lead by example. I build pipeline alongside my team. That's just part of my mantra. Uh, Farthest thing from a dashboard leader. But the remainder is like helping everyone understand that. And once a seller gets out of their shell and is able to create that content with regularity, and then more importantly, build the flywheel that allows that content to be seen by the right folks, and then they see the pipeline impact, then all of a sudden like life changes for them, and all of a sudden you have reps that are just absolutely murdering their number and their targets simply because they just have so much more pipeline than everybody else. And I think the part that I love most, that gets me most excited about it, is in that process of doing this, you actually are building your personal brand in the process without talking about your personal brand, right? And your personal brand is the most portable thing. It's truly portable in the sense that it follows you. Your audience will follow you. The ability to captivate attention of your target ICP will follow you. And everyone's watching you do this, right? So you end up becoming a very attractive candidate to other companies. You end up drawing more individual into your orbit that are going to provide some kind of unique opportunity in some way, and all kind of things kind of fall into place very easily for future steps of your career just by virtue of building this audience. So it helps you crush in your day job, but then also build an audience which will help you long run.
What's the most important thing you've learned so far in your career?
Stepping outside of a comfort zone and accepting jobs that you are not quite ready to take on. I think we oftentimes were in this, particularly in the software world, there's a lot of fear in the software world right now, right? There's a lot of fear of what AI is going to do to displace the workplace and reduce headcounts. There's equally fear on what AI will do to make many software companies obsolete. And with all of that fear, I think the individuals at a company often have have a lot of fear in um, making bold bets and taking risks. And in my view, something that's served me well, particularly over like the last like 7, 8 years, is go after a job and a role and a function that you believe you can do. You've demonstrated the steps prior in your career that you think you can do it, and make that bet and bet on yourself, despite it being probably the highest risk environment that we're in for the space right now. And I think those who take those bets will ultimately see a whole lot of reward from it. And then combine that with the fact that what I've learned is the concept of building a personal brand on LinkedIn is something that has completely changed the shape of my career. Like completely changed the trajectory in every sense of the word. Just 7, 8 years ago, I was a guy that was genuinely struggling with like I felt like I was getting started all over again. And LinkedIn completely changed the trajectory for me. And now I feel like I can get into any door that I want to. I can open any conversation that I want to. I can, whether it's with an ICP or a prospective employer or prospective partner or a relationship, it becomes extremely easy if you've devoted the time to building that audience on LinkedIn. It follows you and it pays you in ways that you can't possibly quantify or predict. But ultimately, like that's been a huge learning curve for me. And by continuing to invest in it, it's just paid off, and I'm so thankful for it.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this insight, I've handpicked another video for you right here on the screen. For more actionable strategies that get you real results, hit subscribe.